I'll tell you, we should jump into, we're talking about weekends and movies and everything too.
Sure.
Just jump right into box office.
Okay, let's do it.
Might as well. Because I'm not surprised by a lot of these numbers. I don't know if you're going to feel the same. But we'll do basically what we do every week here, and we go over it's like almost like the preview that Dark Horizon's done, and we'll show the actual numbers.
Yeah.
So let's start with this. All right, so they really hit Springsteen here. Springsteen box office ain't glory days.
Yikes.
Though he delivered a number of worldwide hits, quintessentially American rocker, Bruce Springsteen hasn't been able to translate into box office success. The biopic Springsteen Delivered Me from Nowhere was released in multiple markets this weekend alongside a U.S. release and is bombing. Tyler earned just $7 million overseas. At the same time, its domestic debut is coming in smaller than projected, slipping slightly to 9.1 and in fourth place. Budgeted at $55 million, the film's audience exit scores haven't been strong, with the blame going less on the filmmakers or cast, rather its subject matter, namely the choice to focus on Springsteen's depression in his art house album, Nebraska. While critics may love it, the album has none of the major hits that made him a global superstar. Crunchyroll's anime Chainsaw Man Res Arc is topping the U.S. box office this weekend with projections up to 17.2, and the film already opened last month in some global, already up to 108 worldwide. Black Phone 2, this is where they're giving the projections. So I'm gonna actually give the actual numbers of what we got here. And as you see, Chainsaw Man, the movie is 17.3, as they said. Black Phone 2 at 13. Regretting You. Do you see this one, John?
Regretting You?
Yeah.
No, it's a Colleen Hoover, man.
Yeah, I saw it. I've actually seen all these except Chainsaw Man. Springsteen Delivered Me from Nowhere, 9.1. Tron Ares, Trying to Stay Alive. What does that thing have? 123 worldwide. Yeah, good luck. And then the rest of it, let's see. Good Fortune at number 6 with 3 million. Chris Stuckman, Shelby Oaks come in 7th place with 2.3. 8th is One Battle After Another. 9, Roofman. And 10th, Truth and Treason. All right. John, what stands out, dude? Look, people can be scumbags. We know that. People are trying to rip people off for money all the time. There's scams happening all the time. Hell, there are YouTube channels dedicated to catching these scamming bastards. But your security, it's got to be a priority. And Cash App, it treats it that way. With Security Lock, Cash App requires a successful Face ID or a biometric authentication to access your account. It's like your money is being protected by your own personal bodyguard. Even if your phone, if it's lost, if it's stolen, they got you covered. Plus, if you're about to send money to someone new and Cash App notices that something's like off, you're falling for a scam, it's going to send you a warning before the money is sent to confirm that everything looks right. Turn on Security Lock in your Cash App settings today. Pay attention to scam warnings to keep your money safe. Learn more at cash.app/security. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use the code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend with 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcasts for full disclosures.
Not much. Everything seemed to pretty much be what was being predicted ahead of time. I am sad about the Deliver Me from Nowhere situation, but I'm not surprised. I mean, again, this is something that you have to be aware of when you're greenlighting these films. Kristian, we've seen so many examples. People who are big or content or IP that was big in the 70s and 80s doesn't necessarily transfer over to the younger generation. And this film is an unusual biopic. I've seen some reviewers. I was watching the Ringers review, and they were just so, Amanda Dobbins and Yassi Salek were so dismissive of the film. It drove me insane. Because I think younger critics just aren't into the Springsteen stuff, just are not connecting with the movie. And so it's no surprise that there's a lot of people who didn't necessarily want to go and see the film. And the film, when you read the reviews, it's very clear the film is not like this rousing coming back from the dead to shock the world type of film. It's much more of a contemplative exploration of mental health and depression. And it is a dark film, and it is a quiet film. It is a slow moving film. And there are only occasional moments of like, it's much more about an actor's piece. And I think that's in the end, that's what bit the film in the ass. And there are legitimate criticisms of the movie. I can certainly take that, but I think in the end, the subject matter, the guy Springsteen hasn't had a hit in years, and I think people have kind of just it's a smaller group of people who go see it, and the people who will go see it will stay at home and they'll see it in 3 weeks or in a month. So I think that's what in the end bit that film in the ass. And look, Jeremy Allen White is great, but he's right now a TV guy. He's not a theatrical guy yet, and so no surprise that people didn't go and see it. I'm shocked that it cost $55 million to make that movie because I watched that movie twice now. I've seen it twice. I went again on Sunday. Yeah, I love Springsteen, and I bought the book. I'm going to get it from Barnes and Noble today. I ordered it. But I just I don't know where 55 million is on that screen. Like I really don't. That to me is a 20 million movie. It looks like a $20 million movie. So it must have been the salaries because I just don't understand
salaries. Maybe concert stuff. Music maybe. I don't know.
They only have 2 or 3 concert scenes, and everything else is at the Stone Pony, which is small.
It's true. So I will say this: there's not much that you said there that I don't agree with. I mean, I really do. I mean, I'm a huge Springsteen guy. I took my uncle, who's also a Springsteen guy, to see it. And the thing that he said afterwards too, was funny because I had shot my out of the theater, and there was something wrong with the camera. So I was like, shit, I got to do it again. So he goes, real quick, what you should put in there is that it answered a lot of unanswered questions about that album to Springsteen fans. And it did. And what's funny is that yes, they chose to do the Nebraska album, which I think was the wrong choice. I enjoyed the movie, but I think that it was the wrong choice because of the fact of everything you just said. If you're trying to get at $55 million and you're trying to capture a new audience for Springsteen, you've got to don't assume that everybody knows where he came from and how he made it and all that stuff. You got to show that part of the story. I know that that's the standard kind of paint by number by biopics, but that's ultimately why they do very well. The ironic thing is what we all maybe wanted is what the audience wanted in 1982, and instead got a smaller contained album. We got a smaller contained movie. Nebraska, this movie reflected that album. And it was to, like you said, to showcase what was going on mentally with Springsteen. And I agree with you so much, though. If you're trying to get people in the theater, the younger audience is not paying tickets to go see this unless you give them something to really get excited for. And this ultimately wasn't it.
No. And plus you've got the darkness of the father-son issues as well. There's just not a lot of uplifting stuff in the movie. Even the relationship with him and his girlfriend, which is an amalgamation or a version of one of the women he was dating at the time, doesn't get. And I agree with you. I think 55. That's for the Born in the USA, right? Or even go back to Born to Run,
right,
where he really explodes as a.
That's where he started. 84 took him to the next level.
Yes, exactly.
Born to Run got him there.
Right, exactly. Those are the 2 areas you would profile for $55 million for Nebraska, which didn't have any hits. But although I love this album and has great music, 20 million, 25 million should have been tops
easily. And I think that they were they got carried away with, like you said, how big Bruce was at one point. He's still an icon, absolutely. Sure, and how, because Bob Dylan got that kind of praise that they thought they'd probably do the same thing. It was a miss in how they marketed it. It wasn't necessarily a miss on how they shot it, and maybe they accomplished. And again, the parallels to the movie, they accomplished what they wanted to do. They put out this thing that was clearly passionate to them in the way that that album was passionate to Bruce. And if they're cool with that, then look, we made something that we're proud of. Good on them. I was talking to Roxy on Tuesday.
We saw it together.
Yes. And we are on the total opposite sides of things. She thinks that that he will win best best actor. I said, no way. I said there might be a chance he even gets nominated. And she said, I'm crazy. I said, it just doesn't have that kind of buzz. And I said, it's the same conversation Roka and I were having about Dwayne Johnson and Julia Roberts. It's that those movies, like, I also don't know how anybody thinks now, because of streaming and everything else too, how you're going to really get people in the theater. That's why I said the thing about One Battle After Another. That movie made a lot of money. For what it's still going to lose money because it costs like $170 million to make or whatever it was.
Right.
But it did the job.
Yes.
it did its job. Now, if that movie would have made like 15 million, then that's a big, huge failure, right?
Right.
But for the amount of money that movie is, that it made the money that a 3-hour movie like that, today's climate, is able to make. That is a success.
Yeah. Well, and you look at Scott Cooper, maybe he wasn't the right choice for film. I think he was the right choice
For this movie.
for this movie. He was the right choice, but to make a box office success out of this movie, he wasn't necessarily the right choice. Because look, I mean, look at his. I'm looking at his numbers now. Crazy Heart made 47 million, but that's off of Jeff Bridges.
Right.
Out of the Furnace made 15 million, and you had Christian Bale in that.
Right.
Black Mass 99 million worldwide. You have Johnny Depp at the time.
Right. And that movie was okay.
Riding high. Yeah. Hostiles was damn good. Christian Bale again, 36 million. Antlers, 35 million.
Which one was Antlers? Which one was Antlers?
That was the horror film from 2 or 3 years ago with the kid and the drawings. And God, I can't remember who was the mom. I think Vera Farmiga was the mom. But it was like it came and went. It did not stick around
really
long. Yeah. So he's not a box office king in terms of the getting people to come see his movies. They're much more contemplative, darker films, which I like. I like Cooper, but maybe a different director would have found spots to like make it more of a rousing film in the end, and that wasn't there.
Well, there you go. And I think that the other ones that are popping up, I mean, we talk about like, so Shelby Oaks just came out, Stuckman's movie. I mean, if you look, and obviously I've used, what's that?
I'm seeing that today after we did the show. Yeah.
So obviously I've used him as a major inspiration. I even texted him as much to tell him that of what he was able to accomplish. He got it done. He got it done. And so he was, his day one goal, or when he set that goal, was 250,000, and they surpassed that in a day. And then ultimately, I think it was like 2.2 or whatever. I think it probably hits you into the close with marketing, probably in the 3.2 million range, I would assume, right? So right now, it stands at 2.3.
Right.
So where do you stand on, is this a winner or a loss?
I think the reviews have been middling. So I think this is not, it's Stuckman's directorial debut. And I think those of us in the bubble of this YouTube space, which, you've been part of much longer than me. It's like, we think, oh, it's Stuckman, and it's like, well, are people going to go see this kind of movie? Do they trust Stuckman enough to go see a film of his? And clearly the numbers weren't that strong for a film like this, because there's a lot of debut horrors that come out and like shock the world and whatever. But this one was much more of an indie, smaller, grassroots type of approach. So I think for what they did, it's fine, but it's not like the rousing success you'd want it to be to really kind of announce Chris. And I see some people, saying, franchises should be looking at Chris if they want to do installments of horror films or whatever. And maybe this is something that will open more doors for Chris in the long run. But the thing that matters is that he did it. And not a lot of YouTuber critics make that jump.
That's it. There are there are wins and losses here, right? I do think overall, let's start with the negative side of it. I do think that at 2.2, 2.3, he's probably disappointed with that. The studio's probably disappointed with that. It's not like a major like, oh my God, we put so much into this loss. It's a good story to tell that this guy put out this Kickstarter. He got support for it. He got a guy like Flanagan to come in and get involved in it. And as you said, he got it done. That's the story. That's the win. Right. And even if saw some people who saw it who said that they just thought it was just okay. Just okay is a good win for him to start in the beginning. It's horrible, terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. That then it's like, oh, I don't know if he's gonna get another shot. He's gonna get another shot. He's gonna get another shot.
I think so.
Because he handled himself well in the press thing. And the other thing is that most press for this movie was led with him.
Yes.
They let it with him because they were relying on that same thing that built that Kickstarter and his audience to come. And as you said, look, he's got a very big audience here.
Yes.
But overall, 2.2 million or whatever it might be. And you can't, let's say 1 million of those people are going to show up. Let's say 1 million. Right. That's still not enough.
Yeah.
It's still not enough overall. You wouldn't have made, I guess it would have been. They didn't show. I mean, I guess it would be like close to like 5-6 million, but whatever it might have been money wise. But that didn't happen. They didn't show up, and maybe 200,000 people at his audience showed up.
Right.
He is going to get more opportunities though and especially if he worked well with them. But that's
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Kristian, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please finish.
At least, you know, and if nothing else, if he's made a good contact with Mike Flanagan and they've got a good relationship, then don't be surprised to see Chris directing episodes of whatever series Mike might be working on, and then they ramp up to a new thing, you know. And the thing is, it wasn't a bomb. Like a bomb would have been if, like, you know, $150,000. That's all they made opening. That's a bomb. Like, this is I made our budget back in the first weekend, and now
our shooting budget.
Our shooting budget.
Right.
And now let's see if this got any legs and see what it can do. But I think what's killing it is that it's at 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's enough critics that are looking at it, who are legitimate critics too, who are looking at it and giving it like a B- or a C kind of score.
And he knew it. I'm sure he knew it going into it. That's the game, brother. You know, that's it. It's like, so you got to be proud of what you did, and then you got to realize, look, I've been on the other side of it for so many years. Now it's my turn. And okay, maybe not everybody responded as they wanted to, but, and as you said, I think you hit it right on the head, and that is, the guy got it done.
Yeah,
he got it done. And like I said, and I told him, I wrote him, because I didn't write anything about the box office in general, but I just said, you know, I want to let you know that I'm putting together this pilot, I'm putting this thing together, and you have been a major inspiration for that, because you got it done. And that is really the most important thing, because for every single person who's going to give him shit or anything else, whatever they might say to him in general, he got it done. Yeah. And that, to me, that's a win. And I do think he'll get more opportunities. So
of course.
What do you guys make of the box office in general? What do you say? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.